So you recently released Falling for It. You've got a music video on the way. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I'll defer to John on the music video side of things because that's kind of his wheelhouse. But new song, "Falling for It." Super excited. It's been in the tank for a while. It's kind of like our take on wearing some of our influences like super on our sleeve. I think there's some obvious Cure, like pop Cure going on there. I think there's some obvious self-titled Blink-182 going on there. And it's definitely kind of the vibe we were going for. I think John's drumming lends to that last one, to the latter
Sure. Travis
comparison
Barker. Yeah.
for sure. Some of the synthy stuff is definitely that like punk fused with like 80s post-punk goth kind of thing that we've always been very into. We really just kind of leaned into that and more of those influences there. And yeah, super stoked with how the song came out. It's this another one that we've done ourselves in-house. Our guitar player Tom Draper, once again, doing a lot of the production. We recorded it all in various locations, houses, apartments. Very DIY, very little to no budget. And just pretty stoked on the tune, and the reception's been great. We've been playing it live for quite a while now, going back into last year even, and we'd had people asking about that specific song before it was released, so it's nice to have it out there. And um, I'll let John talk a little bit after I say that he did the artwork for that as well.
Mhm.
And I love it. I think it matches the vibe of the track, and it also kind of matches some of the previous Love aesthetic we've been working with for a little while too. So yeah, super stoked on this song, and it's one of my favorites that we've done. I feel like I say that every time we put out something new, but I mean it's always true, and that's an exciting place to be when we've been doing this for almost a decade at this point. So
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah, like the art direction that was kind of spearheaded by me. So Gary came forward with the song and the lyrics, and it was painting like a really pretty picture in all of our heads. And we were trying to like figure out like what colors we were seeing when we were hearing it, and just trying to like get really heady and like what do we experience while we're listening to this song? How does it make us feel? And for me, I was feeling like a lot of like black and white, like an old like romantic movie, like It's a Wonderful Life
totally.
almost. So I was going with like a lot of like black and white imagery, and I was just searching through different photos, and the album artwork that we have currently for the song, it's actually a picture of Alexander Graham Bell, the like inventor of the telephone, and one of his actual passion, not telephones, it was making these like geometric kites and using like different materials and metals and plastics and flying them in the air with his students. And the picture that is the album artwork is him like kissing his wife while his wife is like posed with the kite, and it was just a really cool moment that you stumble upon while you're looking for inspiration. So we kind of ripped that and created a little album artwork out of that, and I feel like it makes me feel what the song it like makes me feel like when I'm hearing it. And we tried to carry that through with like the music video,
Mm.
and that was footage from us playing the song for it was one of the first times that it was actually released. So we played it with our buddies in Head North. They had the release show at Nietzsche's back in April, and we played to pretty much a sold out crowd at Nietzsche's, and it was just a great atmosphere. So we had our buddy Joe Farini do some multi-cam shots of the crowd and us playing throughout the night. And those are, the shots that you see in the music video, all edited in black and white and like slow-mo-fied. And it's a good capture of how the song makes the four of us in Previous Love feel.
That's awesome. And I just love the, I don't know, inspiration behind it. And I don't know, the what you said about Alexander Graham Bell, that was just like, I don't know, that hits. That's like
It's cool.
yeah.
Like to
Um
me, like that image, like John said, it kind of captured the vibe.
mhm,
I agree with that. And the other side of it too is that like I like that, it's like an older couple.
right.
Uh, it's got this like
Yeah.
message of like love can be timeless, and like there's music, there are songs that can be timeless, and I'm not going to sit here and say that we wrote a timeless song or anything like that, but like uh I you'd like to think that the song will still you'll still enjoy it 10, 20, 30 years from now, and I think the same can be said for relationships and things like that. So that to me, like that's where that image really kind of resonated. And yeah, I think it's great. I think John did a great job.
Awesome. And
Nice.
now that you've released this single, is there anything else on the way?
Um, Immediately, no.
Okay.
Um, we're actually kind of gonna be going dark here for a little while. We've had we've been very busy, both outwardly over the last like couple months, playing some gigs. We've played some really cool shows again at Nietzsche's. We played one with this awesome out of town band from, I want to say, Maine, called Dark Soft. It was awesome to have them in
They're
Buffalo. Oh
sure
yeah,
right
nice.
now.
There you go. There you go. Nice shirt.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, really cool band. If you haven't heard of them, you should definitely give them a listen. Anyone that's reading this or watching this or what have you. So that was fun. And we just played Music is Art for the first time this past weekend on Saturday, and that was a really special experience. It was super fun. Vibes were great. The whole day was awesome. Um, so we've kind of gotten some gigging out of our system. We played UB's Welcome Back to Campus like weekend kind of thing with Letter to Elise, another awesome local band. Um,
Also Cure inspired.
Very Cure inspired for sure. And yeah, we've been road testing some new material. Um, we're in the process of writing a lot of new material. The goal is a full length album. The goal is a record.
Mhm.
Um, and like I said, we're probably going to be going dark here in the next couple of months. Not playing many shows and really trying to just hole up through the winter. Um, and write this record, get it done, get in the studio sometime in the spring, hopefully, and have our next full length project. You know, Sometime next year, ideally. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
And now
We
as
probably
you
have one more show left in the calendar year, and that'll be just about it for live. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, we have songs that are written that we're playing live that have not been released,
Mhm.
Yep.
and just getting the reception for those has been awesome. And it just makes us really motivated to get back in the studio and record this thing,
Yeah.
like get it
Put
done.
put new
Yeah.
stuff out.
And now, as you go into this process of recording things and even writing new things, what are you looking for outside of music as inspiration? You talked about Alexander Graham Bell, and that's a great pull. Like, I guess what for this album are you looking to, not just like sound wise, but in terms of just like art or um, any kind of like inspiration, I guess is the best word to
Totally.
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
Well, the year 2025 has been a big year of music for the guys in Previous Love. It's just been very busy, not only in the band of Previous Love, but we've also been outsourcing ourselves to new opportunities with other people. And we've been trying new things, like all four of us individually. So I think everyone is just trying to go out of their element and figure out ways to make their music brains tick in a different way that isn't Previous Love, but then Previous Love will always be the nucleus that we come back to and take those experiences, draw from them to create awesome art. So, for example, Gary and I, we play in the Shaker Makers, which is this new like Oasis tribute band. We've been playing a couple shows together, and that's been just good experience of learning songs that we love. Like Gary and I were able to go see Oasis in London, and Gary saw them in Toronto as well. And it was just a great experience to have over the summer that I've certainly taken and embraced and have tried to incorporate that energy of bombastic pop songs that Oasis has and bring them into our songwriting. And Tom, he plays in Robbery Club as well. So he's learning these punk riffs and these awesome hooks that Jake, their singer, writes. And he's bringing new guitar riffs and ideas onto the table for Previous Love. And it makes us think a different way. And even Steve, our bassist, he's been bringing new demos to the table. And he's usually not the songwriter of the four of us, but he's also like having a lot of inspiration and trying to incorporate new sounds and ideas that he's hearing. And it's a cool experience, all four of us trying to collaborate and create something cool out of it. Gary, I don't know if you have more to touch on with that.
No, for sure. I've got two, and you got one of them was really just like being more musically engaged. Like music's always been a massive part of all four of our lives. But I think kind of reigniting a spark or maybe coming at it from a different way and finding new ways to be inspired musically. Of course there are other mediums of art that you know we all enjoy and whatnot. I really like movies and shit like that, but um really these musical experiences John talked about, like going to see Oasis a couple times, and I've been to a lot of gigs and I've never experienced anything like both of those shows in London and Toronto, and I can't stop thinking about them. Um, our own live shows with Previous Love have been awesome and energizing this year. I think this year is probably the fewest live shows we've played in a calendar year.
Hmm.
I haven't fact checked that, but I would bet if we went and counted, that would be true. But they've also been some of the most like fulfilling and inspiring shows that we've played. Um, and then John mentioned the Shaker Makers. That's been also awesome and fulfilling to, play to larger crowds and to have people singing songs back to you, singing every word back to you. So I think, and yeah, Tom as well, playing a lot of live shows with Robbery Club, Steve being in attendance at some of these shows, seeing, just being a part of the experience and seeing how it affects us and how it affects him too. And like, I think we've all made a serious effort to be even more musically involved than we've been at any point in our lives so far. And so I think we're trying to inject some of that into the writing. Um, and kind of related to that in a way, the other thing for me is like honestly just like life, like as generic and obvious as that might sound.
Hmm.
Um, just the human experience and like day-to-day life and like we're getting to that point in all four of our lives. We're all like 27, 28 years old, somewhere in there, almost, we're approaching 30 and like life, things change, obviously, like as you get older and you take on more responsibility, whether it's in your personal lives and your personal relationships. John and Steve are set to get married next year. And, um, I'm in a long-term relationship and, like, it's just, and jobs, right? Like we all work full time in various fields and have more responsibilities being put towards us and whatnot as the years go on. And I think just finding a way to feel like yourself and stay in touch with the things that are important to you, like music and art, or staying active, or um but also like it's really hard, it's really hard to not only just like balance all that stuff, but like just just exist and like feel some sense of peace in the world that is so like chaotic and insane and unstable all the time. And I think, you know, as we like approach, we've been talking a lot about we being Previous Love have been talking a lot about as we write these songs. Um, we're trying to we're trying to make songs that are like very much a snapshot of us at this point in our lives and like inject ourselves and our lives and our experience really into it. And like part of that is I guess to round it back to answering your question about like what we're being inspired by, it's kind of like being inspired by self-exploration and self-growth and like a little bit of I don't want to, maybe self-improvement is the right phrase, but like almost like just like self-discovery and um you know I don't know if this is John. We haven't really talked about whether or not this is something we can or should talk about, but we've been working with Brent Martone from Head North as in a producer role. He's a good friend of ours and has been for a long time. And on top of that, he also happens to play in one of all of our favorite bands ever, Head North, and their new record this year, Winter, is still my favorite album of 2025, and that came out in January. And working with him has, you know, he's pushing us to do exactly what I just said, and like, self-discover and look inward to then bring that outward and put it into these songs and be just really honest and really vulnerable. We've been doing a lot of like activities and rehearsals with Brent and even just on our own, whether it's the four of us or whether it's just one-on-one practice time where like whether it's journaling or whether it's like he kind of gives us homework. Like, Steve's been doing a lot with like music theory. I've been doing more with my voice and singing often and lyrically and things like that. He's got John doing some drum pattern stuff. Like, it's a lot of self-reflection, self-discovery, and kind of pushing ourselves outside of our typical way of operating as Previous Love to kind of just go a layer deeper and really put ourselves out there and just be incredibly honest and incredibly vulnerable. So I think that's a long-winded way of saying the things that are inspiring me, and I think as a group are just living life in whatever way that takes us, and music in general. Uh, you know, that's yeah, it's kind of what we've been doing.
And then the last question I have for you, you both
Yeah.
mentioned Shaker Makers. Just saw you guys play at Borderland, and Gary, you
Oh,
mentioned
heck yeah.
playing your first Music is Art. Um, what were those experiences like for you guys playing like in the festival setting and just along with so many other bands, especially, Music is Art, so many other local bands. What was that like for you two?
Yeah, it was sweet. It just made me want to do it again. Like the festivals were such a gem for Buffalo. Like personally, that was both my first time in Borderland, both as like a participant and as like a fan, as like a
Mm.
listener, as a festival goer, however you want to call it. And then Music is Art, that was my first time as well. So it was a really great experience from start to finish. Um, and it's definitely like the easiest way to cater to a new crowd that hasn't heard you before. And we had friends come and see us, and that was great. But there's also new people that have never heard us before or heard of us that are just shy of like the Buffalo like music community, or they haven't like been around like the Buffalo punk music scene, haven't seen us play in that way.
Mm.
So it was just a cool opportunity for us to showcase how we perform, like Gary and I, and what our music sounds like. Yeah, Borderland was 10 out of 10 though. So much fun. I would love for um, I would love for Previous Love to keep chasing those opportunities and look for other ways that we can play in those kinds of festivals. It was a long day for sure, but
Mm.
totally worth it.
Yeah, no, big seconding everything John said, and like it was I mean felt like the rock star treatment, especially Borderlands, but I mean even Music is Art to a lesser degree, but still like Borderlands, they we our set was right as Band of Horses finished,
Right.
and then we played for like 50 some minutes, and then 10 minutes later, as we're finishing packing up, Vampire Weekend is playing, and it's like, cool, well, let's go watch Vampire Weekend now, and like, you know, just yeah, like we had people like they had crews of people that like roadied our gear for us.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
know, like they pulled up a truck like to my car as I'm like unloading my amp, and like I don't even have my amp fully out of the car, and he's like, "Oh, let me take that for you." And I'm like, "No, man, I got it. Like it's really heavy. I don't want to do that to you." He's like, "No, no, no, please, I insist." And it's like, "Okay." And then they like drove it all the way over to the stage, and then they golf cart ride us to the stage, and we get there, and all of our stuff's like set up, and like so felt like a rock star, which is super cool. And VIP, but more importantly than that, like just the engagement, I think, of people musically, just like being there and being so stoked. Both Borderlands and Music is Art, like people being so excited to be there just to hear music, whether it's bands you've heard before, songs you've heard before, or whether it's not. I know that we all in both bands at both festivals got to see plenty of acts that we hadn't even heard of before, and then also acts that we had heard of or maybe wouldn't necessarily go out of our way to see, like if they came to did like a headlining show at a local venue. But it was cool to both be a fan, but then and experience the festival and talk to people and have some drinks and some food and walk around and enjoy the beautiful weather days that we had for both festivals.
Mhm.
But it was also awesome to be there, also on a work day. It's like a work field trip in a way, so yeah, they were both super special. And like John said, I think we all really would love to pursue more of those opportunities, and we hope more of them come our way for any and all of our bands, because they were super special, and I think they're days and experiences that none of us are going to forget anytime soon.
Awesome. Well, that is all I have for you guys. If there's anything else you want
Cool.
to add, go for it. But thank you for joining me today.
And I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to, see you out or, sit down to chat. I mean, only thing I really have would be just, check out the music, right? Falling for It is out. The music video is out there, and um, right, the music video's out, John, or is it not yet? I don't
It'll
know.
be out by the time this is out.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So check out the tunes, check out the content. I think if you like some of the bands that we've mentioned already, you'll dig it. We put out another song earlier in the year too, Amputate, that has gotten a great reception. Whoops, sorry about that. Um, yeah, we put out a song called Amputate earlier in the year that has gotten a great reception, both live and from the recorded version. So yeah, just check out the music, and I don't know, just uh, outside of my band and our bands, like I don't know. I would encourage people to get out into their community as often as they can. Get outside of our own personal comfort zones, and get outside of our own usual routines and things, and go see a band that you haven't really heard of before. Concerts. There's no denying how expensive the world is in general, and there's no denying that concerts themselves are part of that, and not an exception from that. So, if you can't, you know, if you can't afford tickets to a big ticket show like an Oasis gig or something like that, or Taylor Swift or what have you, I promise you there are a lot of awesome artists out there in your local area wherever you live, and especially here in Buffalo. Um, so just, do a little exploring on online, whether it's your, social media or your streaming services or what have you, and just take a chance on a band or two, and bring a friend or something, or go by yourself even. Like I've been to shows by myself, and it's super fun. And I just, yeah, if there's any outside of my own band, and whatnot, just get in touch with whatever inspires you. And anyone that's seeing this or reading this or whatnot, is probably interested in music, and especially local music. So whether or not you want to listen to Previous Love or the Shaker Makers or Robbery Club or whatever, uh, Deb, even, like, just go into your community and be involved, and go outside, like get off of your phone after you research these bands, and after you finish reading this or watching this. Go get involved, whether you're just enjoying the experience or starting a band or whatever you're doing. Just just do it. because that's like we talked about a minute ago, that's what's really been inspiring me, and I think that's what's really been inspiring my friends lately. And I would encourage other people to do the same because it's awesome.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
John, do you have anything you want to add?
I mean, yeah, that was great, Gary. I'll just say, go Bills,
go
go
Bills.
Sabres, touch grass. Mohawk Place is opening up soon, so plenty of local shows coming up that we've been long awaiting. In the meantime, like Nietzsche's, Milky's, they've been just great venues in the local scene lately,
For
and
sure.
yeah, cannot wait for what the rest of this year entails for the Buffalo music scene. Really excited, and yeah, I appreciate you having us on, Adam.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks.
for the time.
Yeah, thank you guys.